Hello there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you the Pre-Cal Honors 7-2 homework solutions on classifying conics. For number 1, identifying this conic section, we have one negative squared term in here, so this could only be a hyperbola. For number 2, we have a and b both being positive, two positive squared terms. So this tells us it's either a circle or an ellipse. The fact that these coefficients are the same means that we must have a circle. For number 3, since we only have one squared variable in this one, the y values, this must be a parabola. For number 4, since a and b are both positive, that means we're dealing either with a circle or ellipse, and since a and b do not have the same value, that means this has to be an ellipse. For number 5, since the squared terms are both positive, that means we're dealing either with a circle or ellipse, and since a and b are not the same value, we have an ellipse. On number 6, since we only have one squared term, that means we have a parabola. For number 7, we have two positive squared terms, so this is either a circle or ellipse. Since a and b are the same, that means we have a circle. For number 8, we have one negative squared term, so this can only be a hyperbola. For number 9, we have only one squared term, so this has to be a parabola. On number 10, we have two positive squared terms, so that means we have a circle or an ellipse. Since a and b are the same value here, that means this is a circle. On number 11, a and b, the squared terms, are both positive, and since so this means we have a circle or an ellipse, and since a and b are not the same value, we have an ellipse. For number 12, we have one negative squared term, so this is going to be a hyperbola. For this classification problem, we notice that a and b here are both positive. They have the same sign, so that means, and since they're both squared, that means we're dealing with either a circle or an ellipse. Now, since a equals b, they're the same exact number, they're both invisible ones here, that means that this can only be a circle. On this problem, we have two squared terms, so it's not a parabola, and I notice that a and b, the coefficients of x and y squared, are both positive, so that means we're either dealing with a circle or an ellipse. Since a is 1 and b is 2, essentially they're not the same number. That means that this has to be an ellipse. For this problem, since I only have one squared term, the x squared here, that tells me that I'm dealing with a parabola.